Let's give them something to talk about. I see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now.
Technically,
I'd say that was a pretty good one.
yeah, we're right on time.
So there's two. It was actually 2 for 3 there. There was
Right.
the on time.
Yeah.
We had the music hit off right,
Yes.
but we didn't have the sheet.
Oh, the sheet that went up in front. We forgot to do that.
3 out of 2. 3 out of 2.
Yeah. And we are on time because we simply moved the time back to a more reasonable. And then we still almost ended up late because we're talking about stuff
Yeah.
before we got started. We start talking about the agenda items, and then we get into the agenda items while we're talking. We should just record. We should just push record and let it run while we have that conversation, because that conversation is sometimes more interesting.
I feel like that's probably a way to do it.
Although I think it might be a bad idea because we name names.
I mean, I think it was probably helpful because we didn't really talk too much. Then
we'd have to deal with emails and angry people and all that stuff.
Hurt feelings.
23.1 went off. Really big time here, which was really cool. CrossFit Games Open 23.1. It was interesting. I was talking to Jackson this morning about it because there's going to be some redos today. There were some redos yesterday, and people did better. But he was talking about one athlete in particular who is does not have ring muscle ups, master's athlete, has not gotten there yet, and he was wanting to budget his time differently so that he could perhaps get a muscle up. And Jackson told him, look, if you want a better score, you want to move up on the leaderboard, go full send.
Yeah.
This is not the workout to get your first muscle up.
Yeah.
And he said, when you programmed it brilliantly
4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Jamie Lee programmed this workout because I think, well, you can talk about why you did that in a second, but I do want you to talk about that, why you programmed this. It was programmed for the gym as part of our open prep 4 weeks ago. This exact workout of all the workouts, this one was programmed. So now finally our community thinks that Jamie Lee's a genius in terms of understanding CrossFit and
just been around this stuff long enough.
Yeah. So, but Jackson said that when it was programmed 4 weeks ago, several of his athletes texted him immediately after, "Oh, I suck at CrossFit. I couldn't get as many muscle ups as I thought. I couldn't get muscle ups. This is the worst. We need to do a muscle up clinic. We should start doing EMOMs." And look, this is not a muscle up workout. This is one about if you have really, really good work capacity, and you can recover, and you have muscle ups, you'll get them.
Yeah. It's a test. It's a perfect test.
Yeah. Why did you program this 4 weeks ago?
Well, this one, along with every other one. So for progressive programming, we've programmed open workouts starting in January, right? So every Friday we've been doing an open workout. And I've skimmed through the last 12 years of open workouts. And honestly, I pick out the ones that I feel are the most appropriate for a test, and some that are most likely that we might see come up in the future. And this is one of those workouts that we haven't seen repeat, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the 11.6, which was one, like just a couple years ago, was the thrusters and chest to bar pull-up workout. So you can kind of see like a trend as far as like what patterns we've seen, what kind of workouts were such good hits that they're just good tests. And this workout is a great test. I mean, yes, it is in some ways it is a muscle up workout because in order to move on to the next level, you have to have muscle ups.
Well, sure.
Right. But what it is it's a test of how good are your muscle ups after all the work leading up to it.
Right.
Right. You got the 50 toes to bar. So that's going to take out your grip, take it out of your lats and your kip, right?
Yeah.
Which is going to affect how you are efficient on your ring muscle ups.
Right.
The power cleans leading right into it. It's taxing on your grip and your hips.
What I look at is the leaderboard I look at the masters group, and what's interesting, or maybe not so interesting to you, is that the top performers on this workout are all former games athletes or almost made the games in the past. Like those are the top athletes in this workout.
Yeah.
If it was, say, 7 minutes of burpees, you'd get people that weren't games athletes showing up at the top of the leaderboard
That's
because
true.
because
That's
they
true,
have the
yeah.
cardiovascular endurance, or you get more specialists.
Yeah.
Same thing. Remember when we had a lift,
Yep.
when you have a Metcon and then a test early in the open, you end up with people that you'll never see. You won't make semifinals or won't make quarterfinals.
Yeah.
End up in the top.
Yeah.
And Adrian has 3 weeks to filter out people for the quarterfinals. He doesn't have 5 weeks like in the past. So those in the past, when we did something like that, 7 minutes of burpees or the early test of strength early on,
The snatch ladder.
those people slowly fell off
Yeah.
as the workouts got longer, more complex, more gymnastics, those types of things, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now he only has 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's got a test for CrossFit capacity, overall capacity, and this is a workout that
This is
kind
one
of pure, kind of does that.
Yeah, this is one data point that's gonna translate into the best will move on.
For sure.
Right.
I bet you look, if you look at this workout, you could probably right now predict who's going to go to
Who's making
semifinals.
Yeah.
Not quarters.
Hey, you want to take all the way to
semifinals.
Yeah.
You probably could
That's true. That is a really good point.
Pretty good prediction as to who's going to make semifinals.
Yeah.
And even probably you'll probably come close in a correlation to the games.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious to see what we're going to see come up, because this is one data point. I mean, it encompasses a lot of stuff. Right. There's a lot of equipment involved, but in the past we've had 5 weeks, but we've also seen 6 data points.
Sure.
Right. I'm curious if we're going to see something like that
with more data points.
Yeah. Another like a 2-part workout.
Yeah, I hope so. Just because I like seeing that, and it's fun. Yeah. It's fun for the gym too. Yeah. It's fun for the members. This workout then is juxtaposed against the workout that is a little bit more fun for members, where Jackson talked about it. Was the one where it's burpees over the dumbbell, and then at the end of it,
it was a front. So it was a 1 to 10 front squat.
That's right.
Dumbbell front squat and burpee over bar facing burpee. And then I think it was like a test. It was like a 10-minute window, and you had to hit a clean.
Yeah.
At the end of it. Yeah.
Ton of fun.
Yeah.
Just exciting. And he's right. Like, our members would really dig that. First of all, everybody could do the workout.
Yep.
And then everybody gets to test themselves. And with a lift, there's going to be lots of PRs.
Oh yeah.
And people high five and everything else. Those are really, so you take the workout that we did, and there were some first time muscle ups. I saw them show up on the game site.
Yeah.
We had one or two first muscle ups.
First muscle ups.
Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment to get a freaking first muscle up in this workout.
So not as many PRs, but again, a better test of overall fitness.
Maybe not as many PRs as far as muscle up goes, but there was PRs, considering the fact that we did this workout 4 weeks ago. People were able to collect some data from that. And then we're seeing PRs. Like, I just talked to Kendra out here. She said she got 4 muscle ups more than she did the first time 4 weeks ago.
So, and a number of people did. So now that we're on that, let's stay on that subject. So I was going to go to Friday Lights, but I want to stay on this subject and continue with what your expectation is for the workout next week. Let me preface that with another test that you programmed for us that I thought also was like a great indicator of who might go to what
proper audio. Appreciate it.
We gave ourselves more time to prepare. Another test that you programmed, that one of the open workouts you programmed, that I thought was, again, another indicator of like who might go to semifinals and who might go to the games, was I think it was hang, squat, snatch, and chest to bar pull up.
The ladder.
Yeah,
what ascending, descending ladder.
Yeah, what was that?
So that was 3. You had essentially.
What year was it, that workout?
18.
Okay.
17 point. That was 17.2. I think it was
17.2.
Yeah, 17.
Okay. And describe the workout.
Yeah, so the workout was essentially, you had 8 minutes to complete essentially 6 rounds. 3 rounds were done at a lightweight for squat snatches for 6 reps, and then 6 chest to bar pull-ups. After 3 rounds of that, you increase the weight, and you increase your chest to bar pull-ups by 1 rep and decrease your squat snatches by 1 rep. So the reps on the chest to bar go up, the reps on the snatches go down, but the weight does go up.
Right.
And you had to complete 3 rounds at each one of those stations. But after the first 8 minutes, you had essentially 4 minutes to complete the work to buy into the next weight.
That's right.
Right. And that's, I mean,
if you're strong,
ending at a 265 snatch for the men with, I think it was 11 chest to bar pull-ups for 3 rounds. Like,
and the women ended at 205. 205 was the single.
Was it 205?
Yeah, it was 205. They went 185 into 205. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big weight,
Oh,
regardless,
it's
especially after all
Yeah.
of that chest. I mean, like, you think about having to maintain proper shoulder posture and positioning after the chest to bar pull-ups.
And it was but it just even having to do a squat snatch, right?
Yeah.
So that separates the group. But anyway, that's another one.
Yeah.
Though
Big separator.
that wouldn't be a great first workout because there's so many people wouldn't be able to do the squat snatches. But anyway, that's another one that we did as. So what do you think about if you're Adrian and you're programming the open for what are you thinking about in terms of what's not been done and what will happen next week?
Well, we've gone below parallel with just a few wall balls. I think we're going to be squatting again somewhere down the road. Maybe not this next week, but maybe the final week.
Right.
There's only 40 wall balls. That's not a whole lot of reps.
It's not.
So we'll probably see some form of a front squat or an overhead squat, I'm guessing. Like I said, this is maybe week 3. I think this next week, I mean, this is maybe just me being hopeful just from the affiliate standpoint, because this last one was a bit of the floor plan was difficult.
Yeah, floor
right.
plan
It was
tough,
a
right? As an affiliate owner.
clustered. Yeah.
Right.
So I would imagine this next one might be a little bit easier on the affiliates in that aspect, right? So I mean, we could see some burpee over bar, and honestly, it could be a very similar workout to when we just talked about the ascending front squat, dumbbell front squat, and burpee over bar, where you only need a small little space and just added weights.
Right.
But I would hope to see some kind of two-part workout, just to kind of increase the data points,
right,
for to figure out who's moving on to the next round.
Okay. So you heard it from Jamie. Hopefully a 2-part workout with some sort of strength test in it. And that would be a lot of fun.
I'm going to guess snatch.
It would be so cool.
Yeah. I'm going to guess it's going to be a snatch.
And that would be great. And our members would love that.
Yeah.
It's this super high energy. Everybody goes nuts. They love watching the RX Plus people do it. Going back to 23.1, Beyond the Whiteboard folks published a cool chart showing 14.4 performance. First of all, they showed men versus women performance so far from what they have recorded, which they have a lot of data points. They have enough data points. Like you only need 300 data points to kind of be a really high predictive value for total outcome. So this chart's probably not going to change. But this one is 23.1. This is men versus women, right? That you're looking at.
This is the RX one right here.
And it's interesting this one is interesting to see men versus women's performance. And I'm looking for my notes I had on it. I just had them up and here it is.
Gets pretty consistent at around the 75, 80.
Right. So in 2023, people who finished the clean, 60% men and 80% women finished the cleans. Is 60% men, 80% women. Is that because the wall ball height, they're faster to the cleans? Although it's a 60-calorie row.
The 60 I mean, I think that's like a little bit of an equalizer between the calorie row and just the extra foot on the wall ball as far as like cycle rate.
Right.
If
Toes
anything,
bar.
Toes to bar. I mean, you think of a lot of women that have really fast cycling. Toes to bar is kind of hard, tough to keep up if you got long levers.
Right. It's interesting that, and then in 2014, this is really interesting. So we just said it was 60% men in 2023 and 80% women finished the cleans in 2014. Now, everyone would think, I would think instantly that the numbers would be lower. When the reality is in 2014, 75% of the men finished the cleans versus 60% in 2023. And 95% of women finished the cleans versus 80% of the women in 2023. I speculate. Now, the data set's larger in 2023, right?
Yeah, it's a fully completed.
Yeah.
It's not preliminary numbers, right?
Right. Oh, that's right. So
because what we know so far isn't fully out yet.
Oh, that's right. So we don't have all the data points, but
Yeah.
I would speculate that in 2014 there were more fit people doing the workout. In other words, it was a fitter population, right? You had that's
when you think of it from like the global aspect as far as like,
well, that's right. So
or
you
not the top,
so you have less exposure in Europe and Asia.
Yeah, that's true.
You have the people that were coming into CrossFit were more of advanced fitness people.
Yeah.
So you have, as a result, a more fit community doing the open versus now where you have a lot of newer people to CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
It's grown. You got a lot of first year, second year CrossFitters doing it. I don't know. That's speculation on my part.
I think, I wrote down a couple little notes just that could be a little bit of a reason behind it. One of them, less repeats. It's like you think of back then, how many times did we repeat these workouts just to try to get a better score? Because at that point, you needed to qualify to the regionals.
Oh, that's right. That's interesting.
Now it's only 10%. So it's like as long as you get past a certain number and you fall in that 10% window, you don't have to worry about repeating a workout.
You know what's interesting is there are a lot of people here that I said, you redoing it? They're like, no, one and done.
There's no point.
One and done.
There's no point. Which I love the fact that people aren't just completely demolishing themselves trying to do this more reps.
Oh, that's absolutely
now, if you're on the cusp of getting that muscle up and you're like, I want to try a different strategy. Like maybe I went full send on the first part and I ran out of energy and couldn't do the muscle up. Maybe this time I'm going to pace it out a little bit more so I can allow myself more time to get the muscle up.
Right. I'm gonna ask you guys to turn this down a little bit.
Okay. Stand by. They're all out in the middle. How many people are doing it right now?
There's like 6 redos going on right now.
As we're talking about, people aren't redoing
it. Like literally, they just disproved everything we were talking about right now.
Damn it.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here,
and Corey's in charge of the speaker, so
yeah. Vindicate. Travis says wall facing handstand push-ups going to go down this year's separation. So I have something to say about that one. I think we will see wall facing handstand push-ups come up in quarterfinals for sure. Whether it's this year or next year. And I only say that because you look at the history of the games and the open and regionals, whatever you see happen at the games ends up trickling down to the open. Right. We've seen pistol. We've seen handstand walking. We've seen strict handstand push-ups. All of that stuff started out at the games where the tip of the spear is doing it, and then they're trickling it down to the rest of the community.
Right.
And that's one of those things that I think that he kind of put out there in one of his videos. Adrian put out one of his videos that we're just working on making handstand push-ups great again. And I love the fact that we're changing that standard up a little bit personally.
So quarterfinals, definitely not.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
What you don't see?
I don't see happening in the open, but quarterfinals, sure.
No, wall facing handstand, wall walks is essentially kind of like the stepping stone to get
the
to
open version.
For the open,
right.
Exactly.
Right. So, 23.1. I like that the less redos.
Yeah. I think
for sure.
For those that are like,
because we did. What did we have to semifinals? Oh no, they were just going from the open into regionals.
Yes. Yeah, and it was it was like top 20 or top 30 or something that moved on 40 at one point.
And everybody wanted to be.
I mean,
especially for teams, right? Because teams we would do it. We were,
because it was all about how many people, like how many points you had accumulated within the full team, right?
Yeah. So we have like 50 people on our team technically.
Yep.
And we would send in everybody. We're throwing like bodies at it. It was like, it was in like World War II.
Yeah. It was definitely
send more people in.
It was a test of depth.
Oh yeah, we were getting people. There were times when we were getting people that were kind of CrossFitters. Like I remember, like Levi, for example,
Yeah.
training for
Yeah,
bobsled,
yeah.
not really CrossFit. We're like, no, dude, you got to do this work.
Yeah.
We pulled people that were in our strong lifting area that were lifters to come in and do the lifting workout.
They would help participate.
They would help score.
This is back when we had 2 teams. I mean, in Aho, we had our team already kind of stacked and dedicated to be on
I
that
will
team.
sign you up for the open. I will pay for it. I'll do your registration. Just give me a lift. Just give me a lift.
And we had a few people actually help our Reposado move on to regionals from that.
Shh.
Yeah,
That's for our
that is old days, right?
Yeah.
This new system, this new format, and how we are transitioning on to the next round. I think it really allows those athletes that are looking to semifinals to focus on their training through the open, because a lot of times the open can be somewhat distractive, right?
Yeah.
Like I want a better score, I want to show up higher in the leaderboard. And in reality, it all doesn't matter, because it's just one of our steps to get on to the next level. And if you've already, say, you've gotten over 10 ring muscle ups in that workout, you're probably going to fall into that 10%, and you can continue to focus on your training. That's going to prepare you for quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Because that is essentially where you're going to be wanting to peak to move on to the semis.
Right. That's when it's going to get chaotic again in here, if it's not already. So our Friday Night Lights, Diablo had, we had over 150 people in the gym, plus all their friends and family come in and do the workout. One of the things that we did leading up to it, a month before, is we told people that they were not going to be able to do it in class.
Yeah.
And the purpose there was to really try and drive attendance of Friday Night Lights, which is a fun event. It's a community event. It brings friends and family. People have an amazing experience. They associate it with our affiliate. It's very fulfilling, and it's an accomplishment too when they do it in front of a crowd with all of the nerves and anxiety and everything else, and they get it done. There's a great feeling of accomplishment there. And so we tell them they can't. Now, on Wednesday, prior to the Friday Night Lights, we knew that there were a number of people that weren't registering for the open because they weren't able to do it to
make it Friday
Night Lights. So what we told them was, what we told our member base is, if for some reason or other you cannot make Friday Night Lights, by now we've got a commitment from everybody to attend. If you cannot, we told them a couple days before, if you cannot, then we will allow you to do it in class. And we published a workout that was different, but we also published the 23.1. And so that members that were in class that came from 5 a.m., 6 a.m. our classes were sparsely attended, which was great. That's what we wanted.
Yeah.
And there were a few people that did it in class, but we made sure that they had a certified judge to do it. And then a few people came in that were traveling because it's President's Day weekend.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were traveling, and they came in Thursday and then Friday morning and did the workout in open gym. And that turned out great. We had a stack of scorecards.
I saw the video of, what was it, Instagram?
Yeah, making the copies.
Kinko's, just keep going up, keep climbing that lumber.
When it came out, that stack of paper was heavy, and then Yvonne brought them home that night after the whole Friday Night Lights was done. The stack of scorecards is massive. Yeah, and we got to go through, because there's always mistakes, and there's a lot of new people, and they don't write down their tie break time, that kind of stuff. So we go through them, and then we reach out to people. It takes a lot of time. As an affiliate owner, you need to plan ahead for that kind of stuff. You say, oh, I'd love to have 150 people in my Friday Night Lights. Yeah, well,
it's a big endeavor.
And I have to get help to do it, and I do have help with the scoring and the validations and that stuff. And so we're going to compile all those scorecards. Yvonne does the first run through just to make sure the numbers all look right on the scorecards themselves. And what we do is, when people do the workout, we have a big box that they can put and we tell them, when you're done doing it, always tear off the score sheet and put it in this box. And we have this locked box that we keep in the front of our gym. And that's worked great year after year.
Yeah. I think it's been around.
Yeah, that box's been around. No, it's great.
Almost 10 years
we've established a habit here. So people know, boom, put it in that box.
Yeah.
And inevitably we'll get hey, I don't remember what my time was or what my tiebreak time was.
I've had to go back through and look for it.
Right. So we go back through, and we have that data. If we left it up to them to put their
No.
score sheets in or take care of it themselves, it wouldn't get done.
No.
Some would, many wouldn't. So we put it in that score box. Now we got it. And then what we'll do is my wife does the first run through, make sure the scores look good. And then I go through, and that's where I look for things like PRs.
Yeah.
And I match them against scores that we have on the interwebs, on the CrossFit leaderboard.
Oh, leaderboard. Okay.
CrossFit leaderboard. So I pull up the CrossFit leaderboard. Now what I'll do with the CrossFit leaderboard is I pull it up for the gym. I literally copy and paste it into, I use Google Sheets, and it translates over kind of okay. One of the unfortunate things that they do, and we talked about this, I think last week, is they'll put all the data for the score, rounds, reps, all of that information in one cell. So you have the person's name in one cell. You have the
time or the division.
Yeah, there's like, what is it? The division. There's like
the age.
Yeah, but your score cell has like 6 different things in it. Pull up the CrossFit leaderboard. Can you do that and put that up? I want to show you, because it's something that I think affiliate owners would. I'll show you how I do it, and then maybe someone can send me a direct message and tell me a better way to do it. But if you pull up anybody's leaderboard, just pull up the initial leaderboard. There we go. All right, so scroll to the first person. All right, so click on that person's name. So, all right, so now you see all that data that's in her name.
Oh yeah.
So all of that
stuff shows
up
on the same cell.
Yeah. So if I cut and paste from the leaderboard, I get all that data in that cell. You don't get that data separately by cell, and then go over to the score. Look at the score.
Yeah, you get to find out how many rounds and reps, how many reps completed. All you need is the number.
Yes, and so, but we've got, I've got almost 200 people that are doing the open, so I can't just go person by person by person and just pull and type it in.
Yeah.
There's little tricks that I do. So I cut and paste, and then I transpose it, and I can pull it that way. But if you transpose it, it puts all the data and all the names all on one line, one way. I do, what I end up having to do is like do an extraction formula and just kind of pull the data out.
Sounds complex.
It's complex. It takes it.
It sounds like CrossFit needs to make this a little bit easier on affiliates to pull this data out.
Yes. All I would ask is give us a downloadable CSV file.
I don't imagine that being too difficult.
Each of these datas. So in this case, what's that name there? Because I can't read it.
It's K Howells.
So K Howell. So K Howell. All I want to see is K Howell, and then all of that data you can put in there. I don't care, but put each one of those data points in a separate cell.
Yeah,
because then I can just hide those cells or delete those cells. I don't need them.
Yeah,
it would just
be auto-populated.
Holy crap! So anyway, and look, and then there's a video link on there too, and all of that crap will come across.
Yeah, the video link. Yep. And
so what I do is I have to go through person by person, just clean it out. And that's a little frustrating as an affiliate owner running a intramural open, because we give points for top 10 performances for top 10 overall performances in open and in scaled. But to do that, it's quite a bit of added work. Yeah. Just to get a couple numbers. Anyway, so that would be helpful, but that's what we do. And I'll probably
how much time does that take? I mean, for 150 people,
just the data management is probably, and coming up with the score sheets is probably 2 to 3 hours
each week.
So
you're looking at roughly like 9 to 10 hours total.
Yes.
As far as throughout the entire open.
Yeah. And I'm fairly adept at spreadsheets. Someone that's really adept could probably do it in maybe 2 hours. But I think for me, it's 3 hours to make it look pretty, and then put it in a format that's publishable to our community. So, yeah. And I try to get it done. I want to get it done by Tuesday, right? Because someone asked me today, hey, I haven't seen how come the leaderboards aren't up for the intramural open? Like, okay, I'm not doing dynamic scoring here at Diablo for our intramural open.
You get the play-by-play every time a new score comes in, it filters.
Updated. No, Jordan, I'm not doing that. Oh yeah,
maybe when CrossFit.
It would be fun if they could figure out some sort of integration. That would be a lot of fun.
They've updated their website, which is great. But if they could update the user access to the data for the affiliates, I mean, like it could be just related to your gym, right? It doesn't mean you have to have access to everything else.
No.
Just
So we're going to go through. We're scoring top men, top women, top 10, and we give 10 points for first place, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place.
Yeah.
In our gym, we score the women, men, women, and then we score scaled men, women, top 10, and then we give spirit, and we give any PRs that they get. And so hopefully we have a good way to do PRs. The next open. So I had a couple people ask me, how'd you get 155 people coming to your Friday Night Lights? And
damn good question.
It is good. It's a great question. And I think the key to that was, one, not making it available, or not making the workout available.
Don't program it for the day.
Don't program it for the day early on. You can change in the last day before.
Yeah.
But really encourage people. And then we also, in our intramural open scores, if you do the workout at our Friday Night Lights, you get an extra point.
For
your team.
Yeah.
Having an intramural open drove attendance because people wanted to be there for their team and support their team. People also like to dress up.
Yeah.
And so this week was team colors, and there was banners.
Yeah.
There was tables.
The team black with the nobody cares, work harder.
Yeah, nobody cares, work harder flag.
Just a big old banner just printed out for that
team
reason.
red, and then team blue too. They had a big old banner. They used a sheet and spray paint, but it's a damn good looking banner. And everybody sported their colors, and they had handheld signs. It always just humbles me, to be honest with you, that how cool our community is and how excited they get about something like that. They had a lot of fun. Yeah. And here's the other thing. And Harold was a huge help. Coach Harold, who is also kind of he's a social media celebrity, influencer. He's on TikTok. He knows how to do this stuff, he knows how to, he's a good hype man. And we did put a good hype man on every team. That was really important, that we have someone or a couple of people on each team that are really good hype people, and they get people excited about doing it. Harold is particularly good. Coach Harold is particularly good at the media content.
Yeah.
He knows and understands social media, but also he knows how to produce really cool stuff.
Content, yeah.
He's got all the apps to produce just outstanding stuff. He produced a video for Team Black.
Yeah, that was a cool video.
That I shared on Diablo's Instagram, and then CrossFit shared it.
I didn't see CrossFit shared it.
Yeah, CrossFit shared it in their stories.
That's awesome.
Over 50,000 views. It's the most viewed piece we've had in
a long
time at Diablo. 50,000 views. But that kind of content got our members excited as well. Like, they want to be there. They want to kind of be part of that.
Yeah.
So I think social media is an important part of it. You've got to be out there in your stories, which I was. And we've got a 60-year-old white guy doing social media for Diablo. That's me, by the way. With fat fingers. And all I'm trying to do is, like, I try and copy what I see is really good out there and try and somehow come up with something similar that can get people. The social media is defaulted to me, by the way. I didn't take it over. Defaulted because other people that I've had doing it.
You've been doing a good job.
After I moved on. Thank you.
You've been doing a good job.
Thank you. But what I do is I'm really good at reposting.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to repost. And when I see stuff that's really kind of cool to me, I'll repost it, or someone else tells me that's really cool, I'll repost it.
Yeah.
But I think it is really important that your Instagram stories, especially because people look at stories, needs to pump up your open event that you're going to do, whether it's Friday Night Lights or Saturday Main Event or however you're going to do it. Like, you need to be telling stories. You need to share in those stories. And then we have a Facebook group for Diablo members. We do it there too. We use SugarWOD for scoring. SugarWOD has the ability to post a picture every day of a member, right? So you put it, you plug in the workouts. Jimmy plugs in the workouts for the month for Diablo. It's my job to go in and put a picture in every day. Normally it's a picture of a member doing a movement that's similar to what they might do in the class workout for that day. But what I've been doing the last 3 weeks is putting in open pictures. Yeah.
I get a lot of comments around that. So people are paying attention to the fact, like, oh man, I saw you on the picture for doing the workouts. Like,
right.
At the same time too, if you show up in those videos, it's like, or those pictures, it's it's like, oh, I made it.
Yes,
Right?
I have a couple people who said that to me, and I
It's
kind
like
of go
it's
through.
like the old blog, right?
know.
Whenever you showed up on the blog post, it's like, oh, I'm on the blog post.
It's funny because I go through this. I'm like, oh, there's a cool pic. Oh, that's good. I haven't shown them in a while. I try and keep it diversified within our community. It's like I don't try not to gravitate towards the same person. But people do come up to me and say, hey, I made sugar water. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like I didn't realize it was so cool.
So 15 minutes of fame right there.
But it is. It's awesome. And then within Sugar Watt also, we have the ability to put a message.
Yeah.
And so then I would every day, the message was saying, register for the open.
Yeah.
Here's Friday Night Lights. All of the information right there in Sugar Watt. So they had to look at it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And in today's world of massive amounts of content available to everyone, you have to be front and center all the time.
Yeah.
And the last thing I did was MindBody, our software has an app, a custom app for our gym, and then we can send direct messages or post on that.
Like push pins or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I did that as well. So I tried to hit everybody through that app. So I hit them through nonstop kind of for 2 weeks. And I'll be honest with you, Diablo did not do a whole lot of advanced planning. Because we had
we did the draft you guys did the draft last weekend.
Yeah. Last weekend.
Yeah. I mean, we've been pumping
primarily because we had so much crap going on.
Yeah.
We had road royalty and other stuff. I actually felt like, my crap, I need to get going on this intramural open. But I think part of it waiting made it created some anticipation and excitement about it.
We had been talking about it. I mean, here on the podcast, we've talked about it for a few weeks in a row. And, I think there was building up that excitement already there, but the fact that people didn't know exactly all the details, maybe it's just been like, hey, the unknown is kind of a little more exciting.
Yeah.
But I mean, if to get 150 people in the gym to do an open workout on a Friday Night Lights, those are the things you need to do.
Yeah. And it's not too late. Like you can start an intramural open between now and then if you want.
That's true.
It'll work. But I wouldn't necessarily do that. What I would do is we didn't have the intramural open now, is I would do theme nights.
Yes. Which we did last year.
Yeah, we did last year.
Yeah.
So do a tie-dye, do a ski resort,
Yeah.
do 70s, do some sort of theme.
Mm.
What's that? Last of Us, the new zombie thing. Do a Last of Us theme. Just do a theme event for your Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
And also plan on a end of the open party.
Yes. I think
for
that's
your last one.
Crucial too.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to like end off that open season.
Yeah. Close it off.
Sending off those that are moving on in the next round.
It really is a free opportunity to bring your community together and have a fun time. So I would do that. And if you Google ideas for this stuff, CrossFit Roots, which is really cool. They added events at their event.
They added events at the event.
So you could score 23.1, but you could also score a victory in their trivia contest, which was event number 1 for their Friday Night Lights.
That's awesome.
They're
actually having full-on competitions.
And then I started thinking about, you could do the lacrosse ball into the bucket competition. You could do all kinds of stuff.
Wow, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Yeah.
So
just adding more to the
mix. I know. Okay, so if any of our members are listening, do not come and ask me to do these things. We're set. Our agenda's set.
There's a chance that we might get creative next year, but this year's rules are set in play.
These are ideas for people that don't already have an intramural open.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yes.
Oh, I know I'm going to get hit. There's people who are going to listen to this. And they may be listening right now. They're thinking, "Ooh, I got a good one."
Yeah, they're already brewing it up.
Oh yeah, they're brewing up. They're going to come in here and go, "Here's what you need to do," and I'm going to get excited about it.
Yeah,
but
hard not to.
But I will write it down, and it will happen next year. Damn it, or maybe for the last event. Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
anyway,
the final Friday Night Lights, we always do that big barbecue. That'd be a good day to maybe throw in some extra point opportunities.
Yeah, last year the fun one that we did, I think our last one was the tie-dye one.
Yeah,
it was tie-dye one. People made their own tie-dye shirts. That was pretty cool.
That was cool
to see everybody dressed up in tie-dye 70s. Yeah. It was neat.
Some people bought their tie-dye. Some people made it.
Yeah, some people made it. So that's what I would do. That you if you're an affiliate owner and you're listening to this, you want more people to you've got to work. You've got it. And find your hype people.
Yeah.
Contact those.
You can't do it by yourself.
No, get those hype people, your coaches that are excited about this stuff, and turn them loose.
Yeah.
Give them access to your social media.
Mm-hmm.
Probably They'd probably be better for your social media anyway. The next open wide, we talked about that. Friday night tennis. So a couple things that I wrote about I wanted to chat briefly about. We're going to
Change directions here.
Oof, yeah. The Peter Attia did a post. Actually, you can pull up Instagram, right? And then put that on there. Go to Peter Attia's Instagram, because that was the best version of it. Was his post on the new drugs, the new obesity drugs. This is a hot topic right now. Not only within I've talked to people within the CrossFit world, but also in the celebrity world, because apparently, and I didn't know this, that there are a lot of celebrities that have had fairly dramatic weight loss. It's that one there, the third one over. Yeah, third one over. But the GLP-1 receptor antagonists are basically the drugs that are diabetes drugs, insulin-related drugs that are causing rapid weight loss in diabetes patients. But now it's being extended over to doctors are able to prescribe it off label for weight loss, which is helpful in terms of fighting. And I've said this, like, I'm in the camp of like, this is helpful in treating
the fact that
chronic obesity. But here's the thing that's bothering me, because I didn't realize this, and doing a deep dive on this, is the number of celebrities that apparently are doing it. So apparently the Kardashians have gotten into this, and Kim Kardashian is one of them that's being accused of doing it. Elon Musk apparently said that he was taking it. They asked him how he lost weight, because he lost a bunch of weight apparently, and he said it was like Wegovy and fasting. And I understand it, but with Peter Attia, MD, dug into it a little bit, and there's data that has shown that a good percentage of the weight loss comes from lean body mass,
which is the wrong weight to be losing.
Right. So you're not necessarily losing fat, you're losing weight, but 40% of the weight loss is lean body mass. And lean body mass is essential for, essentially moving around and keeping your metabolism running so that you can maintain weight loss.
40%.
And lean body mass takes a long time to put back on. Anybody that's lifted weights in the gym, how hard and how long it takes to put muscle weight on. And so that's there's always a downside to this kind of stuff. And it was fascinating to me, and I publish this in our newsletter just so people can be aware. Don't get too excited about, make sure you read the warning labels.
There's nothing
there's no
miracle drug.
There's no miracle drug. Look, and I understand that this is super beneficial for people that are suffering from diabetes, but also have chronic obesity, but losing muscle mass, and
you need that stuff to live longer, healthier life. I mean, you might lose some weight right now, but what's that going to do to your long-term health when you're older and more brittle?
So that's what we don't have, is the long-term data, right? And the long-term data is the one that comes out, when I see it on a commercial 10 years later. If you took this drug from 1990,
here's a class action lawsuit
to 2005, you may be entitled to a settlement. Right? We don't find out until later because of the long-term effects that don't manifest themselves for many, many years.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's something to be aware of. Like I think it's could be a very helpful way for people to get started with weight loss, but ultimately at the end of the day,
as an intervention,
but ultimately at the end of the day, it's got to be a lifestyle change, nutrition and exercise, moving.
Get off the couch, get off the carbs.
Get off the couch, get off the carbs. Greg Glassman was right. Yeah. And the other one that came out, the studies have been coming out, I put it in our newsletter too, is the studies that have been released, which is just, it's one of those ones like, sugar, like added sugar has contributed to cardiovascular disease. New studies are right. And this is something Glassman said for many, many years.
But no, well, everybody is always saying it was saturated fats.
Right. Well,
granted, those studies are funded by the sugar industry.
Right. So many of those studies were, but that people were saying there was fats, and then what happened is that the food industry responded by taking fats out of the foods, and then in order to give it better taste, you got to add something. They added sugar.
Yeah.
Ironically, now they're finding out that added sugar and processed foods are what are contributing a great deal to cardiovascular disease.
Yep. and obesity.
But it is interesting to see studies start to surface and start to be talked about. Yes.
It's nice to see actual real
It
studies.
takes a long time for that kind of stuff to happen. It's got to get past all the advertising dollars that are influencing in the
lobbyists
and the industry funded studies that are, that try to debunk that bullshit.
The mess.
Yeah. But the reality is that again, 100 words of fitness, no sugar.
Yeah.
Right. Let's take the sugar out of the diet.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about, just as kind of a warning to parents, if we do have any parents listening, is we're going to essentially do a public service announcement regarding fentanyl. I've started listening to, because I listen to Peter Attia, but I listened to his latest piece. He's talking with Hays County, which is in Austin, Texas, is where Austin, Texas is. I bet Hays County Sheriff, the Hays County Sheriff, talking about fentanyl, and because it is contributing, it's one of the leading causes of death now amongst youth in America. And it's not because the perception is that they're overdosing on fentanyl because they're taking too much fentanyl. And the reality is that it's not necessarily the pursuit of fentanyl that's causing the death. It's the taking of other drugs that they think that they don't know have fentanyl in it. Either opioids that they might be taking for either a high or for pain relief, or either worse, because this is very popular amongst kids, taking Ritalin type drugs, methylphenidates, the stimulants, in order to enhance their studying skills. They got to study for tests or stay up all night to cram for a test. They're taking these drugs that they purchase from friends or from somewhere else
that are not prescribed,
and they're being manufactured by whatever illegal manufacturer, and the manufacturers are using fentanyl because, as Peter said, I really appreciated his approach on it. It's not an attempt to try and kill people. It's simply fentanyl is a really effective drug for producing a really apparently satisfactory high. And it can be used for pain relief. It can be used for a number of different things. The problem is dosage. And so these companies, that these illegal manufacturers, don't understand, or nor do they really kind of monitor the dosage contribution of fentanyl in those drugs. And then they end up putting more that should be in there. And then what happens is end up killing people. We have, I don't know if you guys can hear the background.
Probably hear that right now.
Sounds like somebody made it to the muscle ups and got a muscle up.
We got a muscle up. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a warning to parents that they should talk to their kids about fentanyl showing up in other drugs. So they could be at a party and taking something, taking an opiate that someone's passing around, and someone feels peer pressure to take an opiate. And as a kid, I was in those situations. Mm-hmm. And hey, this will make you feel relaxed. This may whatever. Well, if that opioid that they're taking, that is ordinarily maybe just gonna make them feel numb or make them feel a little bit high, has fentanyl in it, and too much fentanyl, it can literally kill them. And if there's no Narcan available, the antidote
bring them back,
and kids are dying apparently.
Yeah.
And so he was concerned, and that's why Travis County Sheriff was speaking, because he did a presentation. He talked about it, and it is literally killing kids, and it's kids that just don't know. Yeah. So I think it's something that I want to put on this podcast and talk about. If you haven't talked to your kids about it, if they're in a situation where they might be exposed to to drugs, tell them to.
It's a good conversation to have in general, right?
I would tell them, like, don't. Yeah. Call you, whatever else. Leave.
Pull up the data. Here's what's going down.
Yeah, like literally, these things weren't lethal when I was a kid.
No,
they weren't. Right, the pot, marijuana, the cocaine,
kid,
like no. I mean, yeah. There's the rare occurrences when someone overdosed. But now it's super.
I mean, it's taking over suicides and car accidents now, right?
And it's not, and the bulk of them are not intentional.
No,
it's accidental, and that's tragic.
Yeah,
that's tragic. Kids are kids, man, and some kids will do crazy shit.
Kids do dumb shit.
So I would say, talk to your teens, talk to your kids, and let them know this stuff is out there and it will kill you. It's not discriminatory.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's I'll leave it. Do we want to talk about anything else?
No, I think it's just until next week.
Yeah.
I mean, once we get the
23.2 announced on Thursday, and then
I'll be looking for a snatch.
chaos on Thursday and Friday. Lots of sleep for me on Saturday. Maybe a redo on Sunday.
You didn't repeat this?
No, I didn't repeat, but I might.
Really?
Yeah. I finished 23.1 in 10.5 minutes.
Okay.
And then stood under the rings.
Oy.
I made a few attempts. And then what's interesting is I got, again, this is talking about what we talked about. I got muscle ups before the workout, like really comfortable muscle. Like, today's a good muscle up day. You know, guy, 60 years old. I have good days and I have bad days.
Yeah.
But when I got to them, after
different workout.
Yeah. And I rested.
Different test of muscle.
I rested a minute and a half. And before I got onto the rings.
Really?
Still just like my core and my grip were gone.
Smoked. Yeah.
Gone. So
it's a good test.
Yeah, it's a good test.
Until the next one.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.